Copart, Hartford, Connecticut. This video brought to you by, not actually, but we'll say it anyway, Capital Bail Bonds, serving all of Connecticut 24/7. If you get your ass in trouble, ask for Mark. All right, they should sponsor this video, but they have not. Anyway, here we go. These guys are having fun with the horns today. The loader guy had to stop and comment on my Chevy. It is sweet, ain't it? Anyway, Capital Bail Bonds, 2015 taco truck. $150 on it. Smitty, what are you doing? What am I doing with a 2015 taco truck coming out of Hartford, Connecticut? Capital Bail Bonds. I'm buying it because I've been trying to buy a 4Runner. Damn, those things bring money. This is 2015. It's got a $149 on it. A comparable 4Runner with this kind of damage, mileage, etc., is going to be about $12,000 out of Copart. The taco truck was less than half that, so I couldn't go wrong price-wise, I don't think. Stay tuned, and as always, if your ass is in trouble in Connecticut, give Mark a call, Capital Bail Bonds. I don't personally endorse him, and who knows, maybe I'll be cursing him out after I get this thing home. But anyway, thank you, Mark. We're going to try and take good care of your taco truck. All right, Smitty, on the way back to the shop. So there's a spot that I pull over every time I leave this yard, just before getting on the thruway. There's a turnoff area on the off-ramp, and I usually stop, just double check the straps, make sure everything looks secure, nothing's going to fall off the truck, and head out. And for whatever reason, well, because I'm leaving a Copart yard, honestly, I glanced, I was walking along the passenger side of the truck, I glanced at the tires. Sure enough, sticking straight up in the right front tire is a nice machine screw. It's directly in a lug, in a tread lug. I have a patch kit with me. I have a compressor with me because I travel with that stuff just in case. And I got TPMS sensors on the Silverado. So I did not pull that screw out because it's in the tread lug. I just thought, you know what? Keep an eye on the TPMS and hope for the best. Well, I just pulled into the shop, and I'm going to call that one a win. Thank the good Lord. We're going to take a look at that tire. There it is, top dead center. Let's pull that out, see what we get. Yeah, well, there you go. That's what I was hoping for. It does not appear to have pierced the tire. All right, good. All right, let's get the bail bondsman off the trailer. And we'll get a closer look at the damage. All right, we got the bail bond Tacoma up on the lift. What do we got there? That was an adapter. Quite clean for a Northeast truck, actually. A little bit of surface rust here and there. Brake lines look super clean. Yep. Just kind of poking around. Frame looks real nice, thankfully. Yeah, no signs of, you get a little bit of schmutz right there, but otherwise looking good. A little tiny bit of hair growing right there. We could probably nip that in the bud. Exhaust looks good. Yep. Everything is looking good under here. What I did notice when I got it off the trailer, front wheels are, let me just take a look. Yeah, I mean, the outside of the frame is, yeah, I ain't mad about that. Not at all. That'll clean up real nice. Springs are in decent shape. U-bolts. Yeah, for a Northeast truck with 150,000, no complaints. What I did find on quick notice here is that this wheel is kicked in quite a bit. Looks like the spindle's bent. You got the wheel right against the spindle. I don't know if you guys, or the tire right up against the spindle. It means this whole thing is, you know, it's kind of from the top in, which I find a little bit surprising. I mean, obviously it got hit here, but man, I don't see any marks on the tire, nor do I see any marks on the wheel to speak of. Huh. Whether it hit tread first, you know, and bent that way. I mean, there's no physical damage that I can see to the wheel or tire. Got that little end thing there is bent. Let me just spin this tire. I mean, these tires are gonna go anyway. Road radials. Yeah, I don't see any sign of damage. Interesting, but something took a hit to bend that thing in up against the spindle like that. If you look over here, you can see it's kind of hard to tell. You got a pretty good gap there. Assuming I keep this, which is always, you know, maybe so, maybe no. What else we got? Looks like the radiator and the condenser are actually, excuse me, I'm dropping this freaking phone here. Looks like the radiator and the condenser are actually whole and undamaged from what I can see. The truck runs fine. Drove in here, no problem whatsoever other than the tires scraping. Inner fender well, if you look in there, it took some damage to that. That'll either have to be replaced. You can see right there. I'll pull it first and then maybe replace it. You know, it hit obviously the radiator support. I mean, basically took a direct hit in that headlight bucket area, pushed in the radiator support, and then also the inner fender well, which would be expected. All right, otherwise looking pretty good. I'll show you the inside real quick. Now, if you look under the hood here, you can see that, you know, the radiator is obviously stuffed in tight against the engine, but it doesn't even, no, there's actually coolant in the overflow. It didn't even crack the overflow. You know, kinked the hose, obviously. Yeah, this inner fender well is probably going to be the biggest challenge in terms of straightening stuff out. But otherwise, none of this damage surprises me. The battery was even good, which is rare in Copart. Looks like they just had an oil change too. Bright, shiny filter on there. Thank you for that, Mark. All right, let me just show you a quick peek inside. You know, the biggest hassle about repairing this truck is going to be removing that wrap. Maybe I'll contact Mark, see if he wants to hire me to just drive it around upstate New York like this, see if we can get him some new business. Anyway, here we go inside. Got a nice Bluetooth little system there. It's got a backup camera. It's got all the accoutrement that you would expect from a taco truck. 149 on the clock, power windows, etc., etc. Obviously, four-wheel drive. Did Mark? Yeah, Mark left us a bunch of pens. What else did he leave us? That's Mark. Come on. No judgment, actually. He's got sanitizing wipes. So even though there's pretzels and crumbs and shit in there, and a diaper, they're wipes. I saw Pampers. Mark's obviously cares about sanitation and being clean. And you know what? Who can blame him for that? All right, Mark, looks like you got everything cleaned out here. Not much else to show, really. We're going to get going on tearing this thing apart. Yoda! All right, so I just quickly ripped that fender off of there and the broken headlight. I wanted to get a little bit better look at the damage. Obviously, as I stated, the radiator support, a couple of small brackets, etc., etc. Biggest challenge is probably going to be this inner fender well. You know, if I have to replace it, I will. If I don't have to replace it, even better. You know, I'll probably start with a pull. I'll probably pull on the radiator support just to see if we can, you know, you can see where it crumbled here, pushed it in that way, like that. It's kind of damaged the whole thing. We'll probably have to replace that. I should mention too, I have set my budget for this, I want to be $10,000 all in. That includes lift kits, wheels, tires, whatever other kind of nonsense. I'll probably put some fancy bumper on the front of it. That's marketplace. Here we come. I think it's doable. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, I'll probably get used wheels and stuff like that. But damage-wise, I think we'll be in the ballpark. So I don't know if you guys can see on camera or not, but what's happening is I'm basically moving the entire truck. Not uncommon in this situation for me because I don't have the truck attached to anything. I have it in park, I have the emergency brake on. I'm going to chalk the wheel. There are pull pots in the rear of the truck. I may need to chain the truck down. But I think before I go through all that, I'll try pulling from a different angle. So let me move things around here and we'll try again. You know, I'm sure when I speed that footage up, you'll be able to see exactly what happened there. The bolt is allowed this, it's actually allowed like a pivot. So it's pulling on that back part, it's straightening that out while pulling this whole thing forward, but it's doing a nice pivot, which is, oh yeah, that's straightening that right out. It's going to give me a better position to get to these tack welds too, to get that radiator support off. Let's try that one last time. Yeah, many hours later, after much grinding and much drilling, we've got the radiator support off. There's the new one. It's been test fitted. I had some silver paint here. It doesn't match, but I wanted to paint the thing silver. It'll last longer that way. So I did a quick spray paint on that. It's been drying over the weekend. We've got this pretty much straightened out to where we need it. Next thing will be to weld through primer this and that. And then we'll have to clean up a couple spots where we're going to be welding on the radiator support. And we'll get this radiator support tacked on there. And then we can start putting fenders and stuff back on. I'll put that fender back on. We got a new one for this side, which will have to be painted. I have test fitted it a couple of times. Fitted it. So it should, I think we're in pretty good shape there. Next bit of body work will be straightening out the leading edge of that door. And then we'll start working on getting this wrap off too. It's been picking away at it when it's been sitting outside. All right. And that's what that looks like. We'll do a little bit of grinding, a little bit of tweaking, and we'll bolt that down. I've just got a clamp on either side. I've got the bolts in the bottom. Like I said, we just got a few spots I got to grind so that I can tack weld it. And then we'll zip the bolts down, tack weld it, and then we'll start assembling this front end. It's starting to look like something again. Okay. And there you go. She's all prettied up. Kind of hard to see, but excuse me, got everything tacked in. Put some undercoating on all the tack welding. And now we'll start assembling the front end. There you go. Starting to look like the Capital Bail Bonds taco truck again. Gaps look pretty decent. Test fitted this fender one last time, made a couple little adjustments. Obviously we got to get paint. And that's just kind of barely hanging on there with a couple of bolts just to get the gaps worked out. So what's next? I got to order paint. I got to order the rest of my front end parts, a couple of headlights, grill, bumper, trim pieces, etc., etc. And we'll get the rest of this put together. I knew that radiator support was going to be the challenge of this job. Once I got that tackled, now it's down to simpler stuff, if you will. All right. So what do you know about that? That actually looks like a normal truck again. I took advantage of particularly hot sun this afternoon and just wanted to see how easily that wrap would come off the sides. I'm having a hell of a time with the hood. And as you can see how it's cracked. So it's just coming off in small pieces. You know, it's been baked on that hood for however many years. Alternatively, though, the sides came off. The door wrap came off, both doors in one solid piece. The fenders, just about one piece. It did splinter at one point on the bed. The only thing I didn't undo is the fuel door because that's got a bad hinge on it. So I'm going to be replacing that. But there you go, in case you're curious what it looks like without a wrap. No wrap? Wrap, in case you're forgetting what it looked like with the wrap. And I know some of you out there find it oddly satisfying, and I can relate what it's like to peel this off. I'm going to do a time lapse of peeling this side. The sun has gone down today, so it's just not, the metal's not nearly hot enough. But when we get another sunny day, I'm going to time lapse peeling this off just to show you. I hope I don't jinx myself, but just to show you guys how easily the sides came off. The tailgate is similar to the hood. Not quite as bad, but if you look up close, you see all those spider cracks in there. We'll save that for last. Maybe I'll just leave that on there. I'll advertise for Mark. There you have it. For all practical purposes, that's unwrapped. There it is, the last piece. My God. Of course, I had to resort to the heat gun finally because it just, the sun was going down. It just, the hood wasn't hot enough anymore. And I was starting to get frustrated. There it is. Oh, my God. I got a couple of little flecks here and there. I got a new set. This tail light was busted up, probably previous damage. I got a couple of fancy new tail lights, which I will install. This morning I just went ahead and got all of my bumper brackets all squared away and hooked up. Also the hood striker. There was a couple of things I had to straighten on that. Ordered up some headlight grommets so we can mount the headlights, but first we're gonna have to mount that fender. And before we do that, we're gonna have to paint it. So next step, I'm waiting on a grill surround before I do all my painting. Then it'll be the fender, bumper cover, grill surround, headlight finishers will all get painted silver. And then it's just a matter of installing the headlights, reassembling everything, and taking this baby for a cruise. And then we'll move on to fun stuff. Lift kits, tires, wheels, etc. All right, right now we're just sucking down the AC and recharging that, since that had a little leak in it it ended up having a kinked line, which I had to replace. Okay. So I went ahead and, because I had time on my hands yesterday, I painted the gas door. It's probably as good as a match as I'm going to get with DBC, with $300 a quart paint. That's a pretty good match, I would say. It's kind of tough to tell with the curve there, but pretty good match. So I'm going to go ahead and, despite the fact that it's raining out, you know what I did with this, guys? Instead of, and gals, instead of riveting it, I put some nut certs in there and some M6 bolts so that can be removed if need be. Will it ever be? Probably not. And we'll do some paint work on this rainy day. Less than ideal paint conditions, but you know what? At Smitty's shop, we do what we got to do. There's always time involved, so we're gonna go ahead and paint that fender. You know, the smart thing to do would be to paint the bumper cover too. I might hold off on that. Why? I don't know. Because it's Saturday and I'm feeling lazy, that's why. I'm not sure. If I paint the fender, I'm just hear me out, guys. I'm just thinking this through. If I paint the fender, tomorrow I can bolt it up, then I can do my headlights. Well, you know, if I paint the bumper too, I can put the whole damn thing together. Sans the grill. That's the only thing I'm waiting on. Yeah, damn it. All right, we made some progress today. Front bumper cover, front fender, headlight finishers hanging there. Pretty happy about the way they came out. Paint's a real good match, as I mentioned. Is that I thought that was a sag there. It's not. It's actually just the way the light is reflecting off it. Not that it would matter. That's where the flare goes, but it's a Newt, that Luma-based clear that I'm spraying, and it's a little bit of a learning curve with that. All right. We'll give it overnight and we'll start assembling the truck. All right, well, there it is. We are waiting on basically one last piece, which is the center grill. I plan on painting the surround for the grill, the matching silver. And then I think I got a TRD grill insert. I got some kind of fancy something grill. And we'll pop that in. Bottom grill's in there. That was a little bit of a struggle. Got our fog lights back in. Got our side flares. The original side flares back on. Truck is looking good. Quite happy with it, actually. You know, the paint match is what it is. I mean, it's hard to, you know, it's like anything. You know, you can see it's slightly darker. The bumper is a different color than this flare. This is the original flare, and that's cracked. We have to do something about that, Jeff. You know, and the flare, that's the original paint. Slightly off. It's probably hard to tell on camera, but the match is off. There you go. Matching taillights too, because why not? Well, that's going to do it for this one. Give you a real quick walk around here. That's a chilly, cloudy day here in Saugerties. Actually, we're in Glasgow right now. There's the side that got hit. I still have to paintless dent that the leading edge of that door. And we still need to peel the tailgate. Figured I'd do a little bit more advertising for Mark. I've put a couple 100 miles on this thing already. Super happy with the way it runs and rides. It's just a super quiet truck for 150,000 miles on it. Yeah, and that wrap kept the rest of the paint well preserved. The truck is just really in nice shape. Real happy with how this one came out. All right, and I managed to stay way below my $10,000 budget. That was all in, so for the price of the truck and everything else also. As I've mentioned earlier, next step is going to be, in the next video, we'll be doing tires and just a small lift, just to gussy it up a little. All right, people, that's it for now. From Glasgow, New York, I'm Smitty, and I'm out.